November 4th up there yet.
Yeah, for the minute approval.
Oh, here for a moment I'm like, sorry.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. It's 9 o'clock. We'll cite the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everyone. December 4th, Billings County meeting. We'll approve the minutes of last meeting. We had a question on, can't find my minute, here it is. Yep. Right. So a question on the minutes on the Tim Armber's pit for crushing 60,000 tons in 3 phases. So did that mean each phase, or you kind of explained it, Pat, or does that mean just one phase?
60,000 this round, and then next crushing will be another 60.
Okay.
So it should have said 60,000
Okay.
right here.
So we'll change that.
Strike the words in 3 phases.
Okay. Does anybody else have any additions or corrections? Someone want to make a motion then to accept the amended minutes?
I'd make that motion to accept amended minutes and remove in 3 phases.
Okay. Is there a second?
I second.
Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. The agenda. Any additions or corrections to the agenda? Someone want to make a motion to accept it?
Second
motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We have the public comment period. If anyone wants to, or we have one person, right? Yes. Hi, Lori.
Good morning, Commissioners. Lori Elliott. I guess I would like to bring up a comment that I think I voiced a year ago, and that is that the minutes I know is a hard task, and I'm sure there's a fine balance between too much and too little. And so I don't know the right answer to that. I've seen different things in different counties. But I would say as a public citizen, I feel that the minutes feel very limited information. I think that if anyone were to read the minutes for the last 3 or 4 months, they wouldn't even know that I ever spoke or had any thoughts or opinions or information to share. So I guess I'm sure there's other people like myself that feel like maybe their opinions have not been properly recorded in the minutes for future generations, so to speak. Like when we look back on Dad's history for 40 years ago, there's a little information, but if people are looking back at my information that I thought was important to share over the last few months, there'd not be anything written down, basically. So I would just want to voice that concern. I know it's not an agenda today, and I know nothing's going to be decided, but something for your future consideration, please.
Okay, thank you. We can start with some reports until 9:30, right, Marcia? Because he's going to be on then?
Correct.
Okay. So we can start with some commissioner reports or department reports. Who wants to start? I think Kyle can start, yeah. Come on, Pat. When did you come in?
Last 30 minutes.
Okay.
Morning, Commissioners. Before you is our report for November. Another busy month for us. We are, as of yesterday, 7 away from breaking our all-time record for patient care reports. So if we get another 7 this month, we will win the record. So not something we want to brag about, but it's also kind of nice to be busy, so. Other than that, I have nothing else to report unless you guys have questions.
I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Katie, you're next in line.
Good morning. We received our 2 Can-Ams. You signed off on those last month. They kind of take a while to come in. I think the weed board ordered them this spring. So we got those. One of them's all wired in and ready to go for next year already. And then the Forest Service did pay one of our invoices for the year, the bigger one. The other one was a completion of a grant, so I think that one will take a little bit longer, but it's a much smaller amount. And then you'll get a trailer today on your on the bills that we're going to replace an older one from 2015. So that's the oldest one we have that's running, and it kind of is beyond repair, so we're just replacing it with a new one. Do you have any questions for me? Okay,
No, I
thank
think
you.
we're good.
We're good.
Thank you. New trailer.
I emailed mine. Any questions?
Okay, Kyle,
It's in your packet.
Yeah.
I saw it. Looks good to me, but, yeah, you reported last month that Medora Station got our new, water tender. Yeah, you did, okay. That sure is nice to have, so.
You did say the hoist was in, right? Working, everything?
As of about noon yesterday.
Did you lift the truck up in the air to make sure?
Not yet.
Does it look all right? Everything look all right with it?
Yeah. Yep.
We lifted Kyle up.
Oh, you lifted Kyle up. Clear to the ceiling?
It was OSHA approved in there. This management's in here.
Tied off, huh?
Okay, and then we'll discuss that other lease thing when we get to it. Okay, thank you for that. Pat, or I mean Dean.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Do you have one?
What?
So we ended up with about 103 total calls for service for the month of November. We were down about 30 calls, but I think a lot of that's directly related to game and fish violations, trespassing calls, things like that, just because of the limited number of tags this year, which I think resulted in less complaints from landowners and things like that. So what else? And then the weather as well too. I mean, with the recent snowfall or whatever we did have, I think we were just lucky with, we were down, I think it was like 10 motorist assists from last year with some of the weather that we had. But, you know, we did have some freezing rain and things like that. I was concerned that we're gonna be out all night coming up, you know, just the last week or so, but we're lucky there. We didn't get too much. I mean, a lot of the other counties got affected more than we did. But I guess we've been lucky with the weather that we've had. We did have one overload this month. And we collected $8,300 or $8,320, I guess, on that. So that brings up the total fees collected for the year, $11,523.20.
How much overweight was you? That's a pretty good ticket, huh?
Yeah, I don't have the figures right in front of me, but it was a pretty good one. I mean, we've had some that were over 20,000 before, so I would say it's pretty, you know, average or whatever. But so I think we're getting more into it. We'll continue with that. I guess, do you folks have any questions about any of the numbers?
No?
Okay. The only other thing I had, Captain Frank Lukowski will be taking some medical leave coming up here. He's going to be gone for a couple of months, and he'll be returning in March. And so we'll get him back, at that point or whatever. But so I'm glad I was able to get Noah hired or whatever to kind of get that filled or whatever too before we had something like that come up or whatever. But other than that, I guess I don't have anything. I'll let maybe Pat talk about some of the library coordination and kind of where we're at with that.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
It's pretty short unless you have questions on whatever, but we're working on which is a huge concern about the rooms, to places for the responders to stay. We have some that are secured, but still working on getting the rest of them. Then obviously working on the resources to bring in the special events teams. Still working on a lot of that. And I guess if you guys had any questions or whatever, that's our main concerns right now is where they're going to stay and how we're going to feed them and who we're going to get. So.
Any response to our letter or that was supported with the city?
Yeah, they did respond with it's like almost 100 pages of information.
I think Ken must have wrote that.
I'm just saying Ken's here if he wants to comment on it.
Way too many pages.
They did respond to that request. Haven't talked with the city yet to see where that's all at, I guess.
I think the city had some follow-up questions regarding, some of the information that was provided or whatever too, just to kind of dial some things in. That's my understanding. Is that right, Ken?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we had a consultant that's been working for some time with us, put together a report, I think it was about 85 pages long or something like that, that was submitted to the city within the deadline date that they had asked. And we actually went to the city council meeting Tuesday night. We had another executive session to talk about it, and we gathered, they put together a committee that they were going to use to represent the city and come back and start negotiating with us. And they said they would be inclusive of the library or of the county commission too, and start some dialogue back and forth. I'd made a recommendation that once they had that document, we should all sit down together and just kind of do a page turn, go through all the different details of what's there and what is and isn't there and what the needs would be, and then we would be able to be on the same page. At the meeting, they talked about doing that maybe yet in December or even January, but I understand we're going to try to do it sooner. But that's been in the hands of the city at this point.
And we did meet with the library before they turned in that document. We did with Ken and Chris Blackwell, and so we did go meet with them to go over that document on the response part of it. So the response part, I mean, we're as good as we're going to get until we know what's going on for sure.
And I guess I'm getting questions too, Ken, just like in the community, are you folks still planning on having kind of a meeting for the business owners and the community, like which was stated like last April, and you had kind of the kickoff to this whole thing? Because I'm getting some questions from the community too about that.
As far as I know, we are. Chris is handling that primarily, because he's here and can do that better than I can.
Okay.
But the intent is just to be collaborative, It's very complex, as you can tell with the amount of detail that's going into it, but there's still work to be done, and so that's really the intent, to be down together.
And I would just say that I think it's really important that you involve the community too, where to have that meeting, because people are really, wondering kind of where we're at and what's going on. So, okay.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Why is the city commission going into executive session to discuss this? Did they announce any reason for that?
They had a statement on the front of the agenda that they read off and went into executive sessions.
Okay. Any more questions, or you got any more to report, or you're good? Yeah?
Not at this.
Yeah, it's, we just
Covers to the.
covered the deal
Work with
until
them
we
some more.
have a meeting again here, and then there'll be more stuff, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Dale.
Good morning.
Morning.
The fire sprinkler heads replacement was finished this week. So those are caught up. The next round of them will be in about 3 years. And the exposed ones are in the basement. He said those are 50-year heads, so.
50-year heads, yeah.
So that's how that works. So he did 23 of them
Okay.
this week, so. I have no update from the city on the fence deal. I figured I'd give them this month, let them have their meeting yet, and then I'll get hold of Dale and see if there's any news, but that's all I've got.
Okay.
So for now, do we have a barrier or something by there?
Yeah.
I forgot it when I walked in. I didn't.
Yeah, Dean had some panels. I went and put up some higher, pretty heavy panels around right now, so.
Just cattle panels.
Okay.
And they're chained and pinned, so it's pretty secure.
Okay, thank you. Juliana? You're good? Because Pat's later, and so, you guys have anything to report on roads or anything? Misty's coming for that other road deal in the back there. Pat, Weir, do you have something?
Got nothing to report.
Okay. Marcia, did you want to do something yet, or
I've
do we
got all
move
of this stuff.
into?
Yeah, we've got about 10 minutes, so I can get into some of the miscellaneous that's on the bottom.
Okay.
There is a resolution in your packet for the asphalt surface tech that was awarded the bid on the project through North Dakota Department of Transportation. So DOT just needs a approval of this resolution. The bid came in at $888,050.65. So if you want to go ahead with the project, we'll need a motion and a second on the resolution. This is 14.514 miles of chip seal across the county.
This is okay, Pat?
Yeah, they came in quite a bit lower than the engineer's estimate, and we looked it over.
Okay.
So he was sick today, was not able to make it. He was going to report it.
Is there some DOT funds on this, or is this all?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
That's that meeting we had in Bismarck.
Yeah.
There. This was one of the projects on there. I believe it was like 1.2 was the estimated cost, and they came in at 8. So it's
Okay.
good.
And how much did we have to pay then? I don't remember. It was our end of it.
80-20,
Huh?
or is it 90-10 on that one?
90-10 or?
90-10.
Yeah,
90-10.
on the federal funds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd move to approve this resolution to award asphalt surfaces.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I second it.
Okay. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Do we sign this one or a different one?
You can sign that one.
'Cause- okay.
next would be, in your packet, there's a joint powers agreement between the county and the city of Medora for the 2026 elections. The legislature took away the opportunity for cities to have voter registration. So then that means that the city can be on the county ballot because it's not a separate ballot. So it's just a joint powers agreement stating that the county is going to do the city regular elections. We won't have a separate election board for the elections, so there won't be any additional cost. So it'll just be included on our actual ballot. The county ballots, we'll get into that next. We'll have 4 different kinds of ballots. So there'll be a little bit of an extra cost just to print out the city of election ballots, but I don't anticipate it to be very much.
Okay.
And for the county to administer and do all this, does the city have to pay anything, or we
So
would have?
we have always done it for the city anyway,
Yeah.
and it's actually easier because now we won't have to have 2 different election boards in Medora for the city election and the county election. So I think it'll make it simpler and streamlined. And I did work with Sandy Coons on this, so she was going to provide this to the city council last night.
Okay. Any more? So we have to make a motion on this
Right.
to get it and then get sent in or whatever.
Yep.
Okay. So,
I'll make a motion. You want to write that up, Marshall?
I'll second it.
okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries between the city and Billings County. Can I sign this one?
Seconded, please.
Yeah. Can I sign this now too? Okay. This one here.
Correct.
So then
Yep.
you'll have one for me or put it.
So the next part, we have to, before December 31st of the year prior to an election year, establish precincts and polling places for the county. So for Billings County, we would have the 3 precincts, which we've always had, the Medora, Freiburg, and Indian Springs precincts. We'd have 2 polling places at the Fairfield Fire Hall and at the Billings County Courthouse, which would be on the first floor here. We moved it down here last election, and it seemed to have worked well. Then people don't have to try and walk up the stairs and find the elevator, worry about them getting stuck in the elevator. There's 3 splits. So the Medora precinct would have a split for the Stark and Billings soil conservation. So it's all of the Medora precinct on this side of the river, and then a split for the Golden Valley soil conservation, which is everything on the east side of the river, on the west side of the river. So those are only in the general election. So the city of Medora is only in the primary election. So in the primary, we'll have the Medora precinct with a split for the city of Medora. So that's 2 ballots. And then the Freiburg ballot and the Indian Springs ballot. All 3 of the Medora precinct, the Indian Springs, and the Freiburg ballots are all the same. So if you wanted to combine them, you could into one Billings County ballot, or you can leave it as the 3 separate precincts, if that makes any sense. Okay. I think the decision that was made prior is that they wanted to see where the numbers were like they have in the past, just for historic sake. And then it's recommended to continue with the vote by mail for Billings County. Billings County has the highest voter percentage turnout every year, so I'm pretty proud of that. And I think the vote by mail really helps that because it reminds people, especially in a primary, that, oh yeah, I gotta turn in my application to get a ballot. So on the second page of that is just the description of each precinct, and then the splits for the Medora precinct. And the last part of it is to authorize the Billings County Auditor to establish an absentee ballot precinct as is required by law.
Where is that at?
That's at the last line of the, oh, it's not on there because it's the whole county.
Right.
Yep, so it's not a
Okay.
separate precinct, it's just a separate polling location essentially.
Okay. We need a motion on this too then.
I'll make that motion to approve the establishment of precincts and polling locations.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second? I'll second it. Any more discussion or clarification? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And then since we were on the elections, you have in your packets a statement of interest and a campaign disclosure form. The Secretary of State gave guidance. There's a kind of an easy cheat sheet on here that the legislature changed the requirements so that any elected official across the state of North Dakota has to turn in the statement of interest every year by January 31st. So you have to redo your statement of interest that you turned in, when you ran for election the first time, every year. So you'll have to fill one of those out. And then the campaign finance disclosure, even if you didn't receive any campaign contributions over the year, you'll still need to turn in an end of the year report stating that there's zero, unless you did receive anything for campaign contributions.
We gotta fill this one out.
Correct.
Both of them.
So between January 1st and January 31st.
So you're gonna remind us next month?
And then for those that are running for election, they have to turn in between January 1st and January 31st, they have to turn in the statement of interest and the campaign finance. And then by April 1st, they have to turn it in again. So that's something the legislature didn't really, there was no exception for that. You still have to do it twice now.
The folks that are
that
running
are-
that
yep,
year.
yep.
Okay. But otherwise, we're gonna have to do, all elected officials are gonna have to do these 2 pages every year.
Every year.
Okay.
And that's new just this year or what? Or this always
Yeah, it was the last legislative session that
Yeah.
authorized that.
Interesting.
I think that the discussion was that, especially with the statement of interest, that, you get on different boards, you own different businesses, they want to make sure that, it's being disclosed properly. So no motion is needed on that, just for your information.
A motion to accept that?
No,
Oh,
you don't
no
need-
motion.
yep,
I'm
you don't
sorry,
need a
I
motion
didn't
on
hear.
that. We've got 1 minute till, I see Jared is on the line here. If you wanted to go to him instead and
Sure.
go through the audit report. Hi Jared, can you hear us?
Good morning, yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good morning. We I guess, are ready for your report, if you're ready.
I am ready. Thank you. I'll go ahead and get started. And I can share my screen here. I'll just kind of walk through the results of the audit of Billings County for the year ended December 31st, 2023. So first off, thank you for allowing me to present today. My name is Jared Mack. I'm audit partner with Bailey, was the signing audit partner on the audit of Billings County. I've been working on this audit since Billings County became a client, so it's been a number of years, been a great relationship. So first, starting on page 2 here, page 4 of the PDF, the auditor's report. We issued an unmodified opinion over the financial statements that are presented along with this audit report, which is the cleanest opinion that a audit firm or CPA firm can provide over a set of financial statements. Basically what we're saying is that in our opinion, these financial statements have no material errors, omissions, misstatements included within them. So we're saying that they are materially correct in our opinion. I will turn to the next page and discuss a comment here. We call it out as a correction of an error. That's, the terminology that we have to use since we are restating the previously issued financial statements from 2022. I'll get into this a little bit more shortly. But what I would like to say is that this information was still being recorded and audited. It just changed in the presentation or location within the financial statements of where it is reported, and due to having to change that presentation or location in the financial statements, we're required to present it as a restatement and a correction of error. Next paragraph here, emphasis of matter for basis of accounting. We're describing that these financial statements are prepared on the modified cash basis of accounting, which has been, the basis of accounting that we've audited the county on since we took them over as a client. This will be the last year that Billings County will be able to have their audited financial statements in accordance with this basis. They will now have to present them in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles or GAAP, and that is a requirement of the state auditor until we hear otherwise, I guess. So all of our clients that Bailey audits, all of our counties that we audit have been presenting their financial statements on the modified cash basis. So they are all in the process of converting those with our assistance. The next paragraph here, responsibilities of management for the financial statements. So what we're describing here, explaining here, is that these financial statements, even though there may be adjustments recommended to them, and we prepared them for purposes of the audit along with the footnotes, these are really the responsibilities of management, these financial statements, and accordingly those charged with governance or the commission. We are just doing this, presenting them as a service, but really they're your numbers, and we are just putting those into the framework that is required. And then it goes into our responsibilities as the auditor for the financial statements. Any questions on the opinion before I move forward?
On the changes of the emphasis of the matter, is that going to be anything, Marcia, or is that's just a standard change the way you're going to report it, or how did that, I kind of understood it, but.
So the state auditor's office stated that we needed to move from a cash basis to a modified accrual basis.
Okay.
So for future audits from 2024 on, it's required to go to the modified accrual method.
Okay.
Yeah, so I can maybe at a high level describe that a little bit more. So I'll turn to the statement of net position here just because that's the first statement. So right now, presented on the statement is really just the cash and investments and capital assets on a cash basis. Going forward, you will have various receivables presented for property taxes, for intergovernmental revenues. You will have various payables presented for accounts payable, as well as like accrued liabilities. You will have your portion of the net pension liability of North Dakota PERS. You will have your portion of the net OPEB liability from the OPEB plan with North Dakota PERS. You will have related deferred inflows and outflows of resources. Basically, this statement that has currently, 9 lines, 8 lines, will probably go to about 20 to 25 lines of different numbers, all added to the statement to be in compliance with GAAP. So various accounting mechanisms that are not included right now because it's purely on the cash basis, modified cash basis. So it really complicates things, I will say. The financial statements will be a lot different. They will look different than the internal, financial statements that you're getting from a month-to-month basis. And all counties are giving to their commission from a month-to-month basis, because there is not a single county that we work with, and I almost guarantee not a single county in the state of North Dakota that is making these adjustments at all, other than for purposes of the audit report. And that would be consistent with other local governments as well, like the bigger cities that we work with, Bismarck, Fargo, Minot. They do the same thing. They present their financial statements on a monthly basis on the cash basis, and they convert them to GAAP accrual and modified accrual for purposes of the audit, since it's required. Did that help answer the question?
No, that's fine. To me, it's just more confusing, but whatever.
Yeah, I don't want to go into too much of a rabbit hole. We were not in favor as a firm of this change. We feel that the presentation laid out here is more simplified. It's better from an understandability standpoint from the users of the financial statements. But we lost that battle, I will say. Okay, I will move on to note 8, which is our restatement footnote from the the emphasis of matter paragraph that I described for a correction of error. So, again,
what page is that on? I didn't mean to interrupt. But...
Oh, yeah, sorry. It's on page 25. Okay. Starts on page 25. So really this was from, I will say, discussions with Marcia. Previously we had the land utilization fund, and what is within that fund is primarily Bankhead Jones money. Bankhead Jones funds, as well as the capital improvement fund, they were presented combined with the road and bridge fund for financial statement purposes, for this audit report purpose. And really we thought that it would be beneficial for clarity to separate those into their own funds so that they're not commingled with road and bridge. So I can kind of show you what I mean here. I'll go back to page 8. So page 8, this is the balance sheet of the governmental funds. So you can see now where land utilization and capital improvement are bifurcated out of the road and bridge fund. So previously this would have been, I'm doing mental math here, like 47 million probably. And now it's truly just the road and bridge activity. The land utilization activity is separated and capital improvement is separated. So I think it just presents better clarity to the users of the financial statements. Since we had to change that from what was previously reported, we are required to restate it. So even though we're calling it a correction of an error, it's not like this information was stated incorrectly before. It was all audited and it was presented appropriately. We just had to call it out that way since we changed it into individual buckets. We also, working with Marcia, did some digging into the library service fund as well as the weed board fund, which were previously reported as discretely presented component units. Looked into the government accounting codification or the accounting standards and determined that they do not meet the definition of a discretely presented component unit and actually meet the definition of a custodial fund and a special revenue fund, respectively. So we had to present them accordingly, which was requiring a restatement. Again, similar to the land utilization and capital improvement fund, this information was audited before. So it was stated correctly. It just was presented in the wrong all save bucket or column in the financial statements. Okay, I'll move into the findings that we have as a result of the audit, which is, starts on page 38. Well, I'll go to 37 first. Go to page 37, which is the summary of our auditor results. I guess the biggest thing to describe here is we did a single audit, again, a federal compliance audit over the Bankhead Jones program, which is what we pretty much have to do a single audit over every year just due to the level of grant funding and spending greater than $750,000 in a single year. What I would emphasize here is we have not had issues since we have been auditing this program for the county. You know, the Marcia and everyone involved in maintaining grant compliance for this program is adhering to the program. I will say that the guidance of this program is not very detailed. It's very high level, unlike some other federal programs. Really the allowability of expenditures according to the federal guidance is schools and roads. The money can be spent on schools and roads. And we get a lot of questions from our clients, well, can you go outside of that framework? And from our research and communications that we've had with bodies like the state auditor's office and other avenues within our firm that goes across the United States, for clients that we work with, we pretty much say schools and roads is really all that we determine to be allowable, unless you would find some other evidence to support that it's not allowable, and ideally that would be from the federal government. I know from working not only with Marcia but also other counties, when trying to reach out to the federal agency for questions on what is allowable, it is very difficult to get a response. At points you don't get any response. So it's been a tough road. I know that other counties are maybe in a similar position where they have a significant amount of funding in this program, especially in the last few years. And they don't want to just spend it just to spend it. They want to have a good reason to spend it. But yeah, I will emphasize again that schools and roads is what you need to spend the funds on for them to comply with the federal grant. Is there any questions on that?
Mr. Chairman?
Go ahead.
So Jared, I understand what you're saying. And from time to time, the commission is presented with a application for money for example, a school that may be outside of the boundaries of Billings County, but residents of Billings County may have children in that school, or the potential would be that at any point in time, a Billings County child may be in a school outside the physical boundaries of Billings County. And I understand that a strict interpretation of that requirement that you're just talking about would indicate that unless the school is within the physical boundaries of Billings County, then any applications for funds would not be appropriate. How certain are you, based on your firm's very good reputation throughout North Dakota, certainly, that the commission cannot legally spend Bankhead Jones money for these specialized schools that are made available to residents of Billings County?
Yeah, I appreciate the question. Thank you. So our firm's understanding, and we've reached out again also to the state auditor's office just to get their thoughts, ideas on this question as well. And our interpretation based off of the law, it says within the law that, you know, the monies need to be spent on schools and roads within the county. So that is our interpretation, is that if the school is outside of the physical location of the county, that it would be not in compliance with the law. I will say if you were able to get, again, evidence, guidance, proving otherwise, supporting that, we would definitely take a look at that, and that could change our, I'll say perception of that, but as of now, that is our perception unless we would receive other guidance.
So Jared, you accountants aren't practicing law again, are you?
We are not.
What if the Attorney General of the state of North Dakota said it's permitted?
If the Attorney General of the state of North Dakota said it was permitted,
under North Dakota law, if the Attorney General takes a position on a legal issue, that's binding on all government entities throughout the state of North Dakota, unless and until a court rules otherwise. So you don't have to research that.
okay.
I've got one thing to add to Mr. Weir is, you know, we don't have a high school in Billings County, so our students all attend other high schools that are outside the county. They're all outside the county. And so it applies to that. Also, we have students going to that Dickinson, that new school they
Career
put up.
technical.
Yeah. So does that apply to that also in those respects?
Yeah, so if I'm understanding the question, it would also apply to that as well. The fact that you have students, you know, when they get to high school, they're going to a school outside of the boundaries of the physical boundaries of the county. Yes, that would not be allowable in our opinion. A similar county that runs into this situation is Slope County. They don't have a school whatsoever inside the boundaries of their county, so they cannot spend any of their Bankhead Jones funding on schools.
Yeah, that needs to get looked into.
Yeah,
It's not your fault, but
Yeah.
it needs to be looked into. Because we need to educate our...
Especially, I would agree, especially with the volume of money that's coming through. I mean, it really hamstrings these counties from a spending perspective. I mean, what do they expect you to do? Just go pave every road in the county?
Mm-hmm.
You know, at some point, it becomes, you know, we don't want to we want to have a targeted, you know, use of those monies, right? And the counties that have schools within them, I'll say McKenzie County, it's easy because it borders your county. You know, they they have schools within their county that they're able to deploy these funds directly to the schools and benefit those schools. So I agree completely that there needs to be a greater understanding here. And however you are able to get to that, get additional guidance, we are very welcoming to that.
Marcia has a
Say,
question.
Jared?
Yeah.
I guess when I look at it too, the Bankhead Jones that we can provide to the school in Billings County for those kids that are here, they also use those funds for tuition to the schools surrounding us. How is that dealt with on a school audit? So if we're providing them operating funds, say of $350,000 out of our Bankhead Jones, they're paying $7,000 whatever per student for tuition. And I guess that's a different fund, but it's monies that are not used out of their tuition fund necessarily.
Yeah, so good question, Marcia. So typically, at least from the counties that we audit that use these funds, I mean, we're going to be kind of specific to a few counties, given that there's not a lot that receive this large of an allocation. When they provide the funding to the school, it loses its federal designation when it gets to the school, because the purpose of that money or the restrictions of that money are met when it is spent by giving the money to the school. So for your example that you said with the school in Billings County, once Billings County contributes the Bankhead Jones funds to the school, that met the purpose of Billings County from a allowability standpoint to use those funds. When it gets to the school, from our research, it becomes unrestricted unless the county would restrict it themselves. Like if you as a county say, no, you can only spend it on certain things, then they would have to comply with any restrictions that you as the donor or the contributor said. If you don't have any restrictions applied to the money that you are contributing to them, it's really unrestricted money.
So Jared, say Billings County gives $10,000, just pick a number, $25,000 to the Billings County School District, and directs the Billings County School District to transfer that money to a school that is in Golden Valley County. What's your opinion on that?
So you as the county would be directing them to spend it outside or to another school?
Yeah, be unrestricted, then no problem. But if we tell them, okay, here's the money, but we want it made available so our students in Billings County, should they need the specialized service, only available in Golden Valley County, this is where we want the money to go.
Or the same thing adding to going to another school in Dickinson or whatever we could.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I follow the question completely.
Okay. Well, Jared,
I
just to round it up, are you saying that it is the opinion of I. Bailey as our auditors that no money can go to any educational institution outside the physical boundaries of Billings County, no matter what?
So it is our opinion that you cannot contribute the funds to, as the county, directly to a school in Dickinson, is our opinion.
All right, how about airports? I know we're not talking about schools, but I know counties in the southwest part of the state contribute money to the Dickinson Airport Authority. Is it your opinion that that's not legal?
They contribute Bankhead Jones money to Dickinson Airport Authority?
I guess we maybe don't know that for sure, but the question was brought up that way.
General funds,
So
Marcia?
Billings County can give funds to an airport authority. That's in Century Code,
Yeah.
that it's allowable.
And
But-
hospitals. What about hospitals?
It was hospitals as well.
And it can come from Bankhead
Not
Jones?
from Bankhead
But not
Jones.
him, yeah,
Bankhead
right,
Jones
right.
is simply schools and roads.
Well, thank you, Jared. I just wanted to make sure that I understood exactly what your opinion is as an accounting firm about spending Bankhead Jones money outside Billings County for school purposes. And if the chairman would like me to do that,
Well, but what was your response? I don't think he got the response of the question. If you direct the school district, can you give us that answer?
Yeah, so my answer would be, let me research that further, and then I will email Marcia, and she can share my email with the commission of the answer to that question. I would like to dig deeper on that, and make sure there's not anything else that I'm unaware of, kind of just thinking at the top of my head, that would allow or prevent you to do something like that. But I understand the question completely, so I can do some research on that and then get back to you.
And I don't want to get the school in any trouble
Oh,
either,
yeah.
so.
So, well, thank you for doing that, yes. All right.
Absolutely. Any other questions on that specifically? Okay, I will move into the findings. So starting on page 38 here, the first one, preparation of financial statements and schedule of federal awards. This is a repeat finding. Really what we're saying here is that currently the county does not have a CPA or a CPA equivalent employed by the county to be able to prepare these financial statements and footnotes, as well as the CFA materially correct without aid of Bailey. So we are required to give this finding. I will say that in the state of North Dakota, the local governments that we serve, 90 to 95% of our clients get this finding. I can think of probably 4, maybe 5 that don't get this of the local governments that we audit in North Dakota. So very common finding, I will say, not something that we would expect corrective action. Really, it's a cost benefit type of an item for the county to address, I guess. The next finding, page 39, segregation of duties. Again, repeat finding. This is really just due to the number of personnel, as well as not even just number of personnel, but number of personnel with the appropriate understanding of accounting and financial reporting. Currently, there's a limited staff amount within the county. Likely that will continue because, again, cost benefit of hiring more people, especially qualified people, to operate the county in an accounting and financial reporting area might not be the best use of funds of the county. I get a question quite often, well, how many people would we need to get rid of this finding? And I always say, well, it's not just people. Again, I mentioned this before. It's qualified people. So it's people that have the understanding to be able to, operate within an internal control environment and actually identify errors or mistakes. Just having someone, that comes to work every day and signs off on something, if they don't know what they're signing off on, it doesn't alleviate this finding, in our opinion. But really the number of qualified people would be 4 to 5. And the reason we say 4 to 5 is that allows for, people that are taking extended leave, vacation, things like that, for the control processes to still keep in place. You know, if you only have 2 people and someone goes on vacation, well, it's not like we're gonna wait 2 weeks to operate the county. It just kind of keeps on going. Well, that doesn't allow for adequate segregation of duties. Okay, finding number 3, recording of transactions, including the restatements as previously mentioned. You know, as part of our financial statement audit, we did have some adjustments to the financial statements. They were not significant outside of the restatement of just moving, you know, the fund reporting to the appropriate buckets. I mean, we did not have adjustments to, you know, the cash accounts, things like that, the bank reconciliations that are being done by Marcia and her team. That information was very clean. So, you know, potential that this would be an ongoing finding, well, likely will because of the adjustments that are going to be needed to present them on a GAAP basis. But it'll just be for a different reason. Okay, the last finding here, financial statements prepared in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. So this is a state non-compliance item. We have been giving this finding to all of our clients, county clients, since the state auditor pointed out this century code requirement in chapter 11.11.11 that says, if you look at this first paragraph for criteria, it requires the county commissioners before November 15th of each year to have the county auditor prepare general purpose financial statements in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. So this, we actually had, I think, a legislative council look up when this law was put on the books, and it was, I think, in the late 70s. So it has been on the books since the late 70s from legislative action. I will say that in the late 70s, the accounting requirements for GAAP for a government entity were so different than now. At that point in time, the the financial statements for a government looked very similar to the financial statements of like a for-profit business. The amount of changes that have came in the last, you know, almost 50 years have been significant. But since this is what the state auditor is using to support requiring the financial statements of the counties to be in a GAAP basis, we have then determined it to be non-compliance, because if they are going to require that, then, you know, we feel that there is significance there. So this will be remediated next year. That concludes what I had to present. What I would like to just say is, again, it's been a pleasure working with Marcia and her team, doing these audits the past 2 years since we came on, and yeah, I look forward to continuing to assist where we can, whether that is providing answers to questions or assisting in, you know, things outside of the audit that come up. I feel like we've been able to provide some assistance or value to the county as things come up outside of the audit. I very much appreciate the relationship that we've built. I'd welcome any questions, other questions that anyone may have.
Mr. Chairman, since I'm not going to be around much longer, at least in this capacity, I would reaffirm what Jared said about I-Bailey, and I know that from time to time, Marcia and I have had some questions about issues that may be of some concern, and Jared has always been available with the staff to answer those questions. I don't always agree, but he's been very, very cooperative.
Okay. So does anyone else have, we have to make a motion to accept this, correct?
Correct.
So any more questions on the audit? Thank you, Jared, for presenting it. Someone want to make a motion to accept the audit from I. Bailey? This is for 2023, right?
Correct.
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
We have a second. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Jared, for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tax and zoning.
Oh, okay. You can have mine. Take 5 minutes, please.
Sure, we can do our 5 minutes then if you want.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. So next year, finish your.
Yep.
Next year, we just have to have this done by November instead of December.
Well, so financial statements need to be provided to you guys before November, so it won't be the full audit of the county, but yeah. Yeah.
That's fine.
Why are we doing 2020?
I know.
Is there some gap that's, so next year they'll do 2020?
No, we're in the middle of the 2024 audit right now. So, yeah, so there's some, like, if you go with the state, they're like 5 years behind. Even though that's a finding in an audit, and the state auditor is doing the audits, they're finding that.
Well, speaking of the state auditor.
Tuesday is
we're
great,
meeting-
because I can't.
We had a meeting with this one. And their app,
Or something,
you know,
weekend, I
their
don't know.
start has got
Sure.
a
See what happens.
reserve
Deer
fund.
season though, he had probably, did you have quite a few calls?
Jared's not concerned about it.
We had a couple
Our
later.
situation is-
Yeah, not at all in that respect.
No.
Situation.
Yeah, we asked them that before, because I said I wanted to make sure we didn't have too much. Other counties have a lot more. And then there was something else when you said that about a different county.
Well, Slope, I can't believe that Slope County.
Can't get money to educate your own kids. To Bowman mostly, New England.
You want me to follow up on that?
Everybody came
Well,
back.
he said he was gonna get to something, you know.
Karen was back.
Karen,
Brenda
the
was
boys are back?
They're taking this, but, you know, kind of like.
Well,
they don't
they're
want to
protecting
stick their neck
themselves,
out.
yeah. I just think that it's gonna take, I don't know what legislature to change it, because I mean, I think it's, you saw it too, I'm sure, that it is in the,
Bank of Jones.
yeah, I mean, it's their rules. so
But I did a little research on that. There's some questions about his
Yeah,
interpretation.
that's
I'm
what we always
sure.
did it.
Well, he's protecting himself or
Well,
his
you know,
business,
my
I mean, his
And I don't want to
baby.
give Billings County give a donation and then find out.
Because it's just crazy why we can't give the school there, we can't give the school over there.
I think if we did the $20 agreement.
Uh-huh, their own spot.
Karen's two boys and one girlfriend were, you know, over there, so the surfing and.
School.
Yeah.
Ever actually slept in the garage.
That's
She
what-
literally, and I'm like, really, you know, that's cool.
Yeah, I think that would be a way to do it, because we sure would like to do that.
I have my pad and my dogs are out there and I was fun, and so she literally slept in the
Well,
garage.
yeah.
That's kind of weird, but she chose to do that,
Yeah.
and there
You
was
look
like
like
3
you have a
minutes
guilty
open.
conscience.
No, I was
I
happy
think
to
I'm
plan.
just
All right, here we
kind
are.
of confessing now what you're up to.
No, actually,
How about you guys?
I got a
Yeah,
board
we're
meeting that
just-
starts at 11, and I'm mentally preparing myself for it.
So you come to our meeting to prepare yourself?
To get away from distraction. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's video.
So he is at my mom's place.
Tell, you know, if Keith is on the line.
Yeah. Nope,
He will
just-
be.
just
Tell
below.
him that based on his
Yep.
performance
So Dave is,
over 2025, he should not be expecting any
disappeared in the water.
gifts in his stocking. He's not done a particularly good boy this 2025.
I'll probably pass on that one, but
We got all the not right now, so I mean, I don't know if he has a girlfriend or not, or whatever he does. So we can communicate those things, I guess.
Stacy, while I'm thinking of it, Radke are advertising to rent that whole place. So the application,
It was just for the house.
I'm saying not Airbnb, but just on the real estate market, like for the
That's all
shops.
right, yeah, if they wanna rent it out to like,
Yeah, whoever, but then if the application is just to Radke, not whoever rents everything.
oh, yeah, no, it's just to Michaela.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Michaela's in charge of that one. Yep. Yeah, so she's the owner operator. It falls under her Airbnb stuff.
Yeah, but if someone rents everything, they can't separately.
I wouldn't think so, no. No, they would have to apply it themselves.
Yeah, because right now they have it advertised like $6,000 a month for everything.
Yeah, it's been listed for
Yeah.
rent for quite some time, but I don't know if they've had any bites, and that's why Michaela's thinking of like doing the Airbnb.
Who's gonna manage it when they're not here?
I
Yeah.
don't know. And she does have like a cleaner lined up, she
Really?
said, but, yeah.
I got a crooked chair.
I'm glad you asked your question.
You got money in your budget?
Yeah, I mean.
I just gotta sit on one side of it. I don't lean over. Maybe that's the problem. Somebody leans in.
Oh, sure.
Who sits here during the building?
Connie used to have I don't know, sometimes the chairs are so around. Actually, that one.
That's funny. You know, like when they do go.
By the way, thank you for sending me your notes.
Oh, I know, I figured it was like, oh, there's a lot of stuff on this
Yeah.
one today, so. Yeah.
They just read it.
You just did. You blame
I
it
love
on me.
Jared, but sometimes he makes me
And there were other things.
I just don't understand.
He's gotta make it sound like that, right?
Yeah.
You couldn't be there to even listen because it was under a report. Under what? Somebody's report. Oh.
It's a plain set out there.
But we're make life difficult.
Are you gonna start with some?
Yeah, I'll start with zoning stuff, yeah, I usually do, like, all my slides go through from here to here, and then I'll probably do ARWs last.
Okay.
That's the first one, but it's kind of last. How those slides
Rudy's got some fancy pens.
Yeah, Rudy brings them in every once in a while for the zoning meetings. They're nice pens.
Yeah, I took the green one.
Hannah's gonna steal that pen.
Who? Oh, yeah.
Good. You can scroll down on the one side of that stylus.
I won't tell her that.
She'll know.
Probably.
Or something.
Oh, some other one. He's around.
Are we ready? Did you shut that off or on or?
It's still.
Still going. Okay, Stacy, go ahead.
Okay, so at the November meeting, there was one application on the agenda from Kurt Walter for Aloe Towers. And the company is planning to put up a 305-foot guide wire tower, and it's right off of Highway 85, about 1 mile south of the District 1 shop. It's in the same spot that Patrick Marks owns the property, and it's the same spot that had the R360 disposal area. So the area was zoned industrial back then, and we had kept it with that zoning. Well, now the tower's coming in and it'll be a radio tower for state radio communications. So it's a siren tower. It's a statewide interoperability radio network tower. And so the state is working on that network. This is the newest one in Billings County. And so Kurt had given some information on the tower. It's the nearest location is just half mile or so to the south where Melkowski's, Roger and Kathy Melkowski's old house. So it's about a half mile to the north of there, and then 1 mile to the south of the county shop, right off of Highway 85. And then it will look like a basic, tower, monopole tower with guide wires. And then looking at the tower, the original tower location that was submitted. The original tower location, it ended up not meeting the setback requirements. The tower itself met the setbacks, but the wires that come out from the tower were within the setback requirements. And so, like right now, the east-west section line road, it isn't improved by the county, but you never know if it'll end up being improved by the county in the future. And so we wanted it to be at least, it was even within 75 feet, which is what we typically get for right-of-way. So it's like, asked them to move it to like the minimum 103-foot setback, and then with Highway 85 construction coming through, we have a 250-foot setback from the center of Highway 85, so we wanted them to like make sure it got out of that way so that it's easier to do it, move now until like in the future if it ever becomes an issue. And so there was and so this is the old location, and then the aerial in front of you is the new location, and the new location meets setback requirements. But if you watch the screen, I mean, it's just a barely, it moves 50 feet from, it just kind of smudges from here, 50 feet. And so the new location, the guide wires meet setbacks, and so the zoning board approved it with the 2 conditions that the design would have to meet county and state highway setback requirements. And so with the new modified design, we don't even need conditions, so the recommendation would just be to approve without conditions.
Well, Mr. Chairman, can I? Stacy, and I'd ask Dean maybe to jump in. The old tower, is that going to be demolished so the guy wires are removed?
Well, no, it's a brand new tower.
Okay.
It's 100% brand new. It's just that the design of the tower didn't meet setbacks. And so they went back to the drawing board and moved the tower just 50 feet to the northeast.
So the snowmobile people, if they stay in the ditch, they're going to be away from the guy?
They'll be away from the ditch. Yeah, it'll be on the other side of the highway right away. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it'll meet setbacks. Yeah.
What kind of light is on this?
Whatever's required, I suppose. It'll be. We didn't talk about the light.
Light, right?
It'll be,
Yeah,
white
300-foot ones would probably have.
The new tower that's there at Freiburg, it'll be identical to that.
Potential.
Yeah. Same size, everything.
Oh, the one east of Freiburg.
Yeah, where that vacant lot was that said future tower site for many years.
That one.
Yep.
That's the west side?
Yeah.
South of Freiburg.
Yeah.
Just basically,
Terry
by
Lowe's
Radke's there.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's got a red light. I see that from our house.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So, when is it gonna be built?
It's in design phase right now. I'm not really sure when they said
they would plan on this coming.
I mean, it's, yeah, because they're wanting to get the siren network up like ASAP. So yeah, they know we have gaps around, and so they're trying to fill the gaps. Like Aloe right now has 2 applications, one for us in Billings County, and basically like that northwest corner of Golden Valley County, they have a tower site up there too. So they're kind of working on them at the same time.
Any concerns from any landowners nearby or anything?
No, we send out notices to everybody within a quarter mile,
Okay.
which really doesn't get a whole lot of people, but, we didn't have any comments on that at the meeting, yeah.
Okay, so do we have a motion to
Yeah.
accept it with the conditions?
With no
No
condition.
condition.
Or no condition?
Yeah, no condition.
I'd move to approve application 2025-30.
Okay, we have a motion, is there a second? I'll second it. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries.
Take it back.
And then the other thing that we talked about at the board, housing has been a hot topic for quite some time now. And I've attended, some workshops, and the last workshop that I attended in Bismarck, it was sponsored by the Minnesota Federal Reserve, and they had housing leaders from North Dakota and the Federal Reserve talk about some best practices for getting more housing in your community, and these were some of the requirements to review minimum lot size and parking requirements. These are mostly barriers for urban housing, and we don't really have too much of an issue with these in rural housing, but it can be a factor. And then another hot topic right now is incremental housing unit types, which have always kind of been around there, like your basement apartments or a mother-in-law suite in your house, or backyard cottages, duplexes, triplexes, bonus rooms above garages or detached structures. Basically trying to, the concept is to fit as many housing units as you can on a property, but still maintain the residential character. And so that's going to be looked at. And then also like manufactured homes, like the language in our zoning ordinance right now talks about mobile homes, which really isn't the correct terminology right now. So we would be modifying the zoning ordinance to say manufactured or modular homes instead of mobile homes. And then another topic was, this is all over North Dakota right now, but data centers, battery storage facilities, and energy conversion facilities are all new zoning issues. There's a few counties out there that have tackled ordinance updates, and we would need an ordinance update for data centers and the battery storage, and also looking at, reviewing our wind energy ordinance. And Dunn County is looking at their wind energy ordinance too. So I asked Sandy Brody in Dunn County, who's the planning and zoning person, for them if they wanted to co-op on it, just so that, if we were to probably get a wind energy project, it would be, probably spread between both counties more than likely. And so she was in favor of doing that. Well, Dunn County did put a moratorium, 6-month moratorium on wind energy, which I don't think we really need to have a full-blown moratorium on it, because we don't have any activity with applications right now, but it would just be to kind of review it so that we're all on the same page. And then the other thing that just happened that became an issue week ago or so, before Thanksgiving, we got a letter from the North Dakota Department of Water Resources saying that the Senate Bill 2027 that was passed in the 25 legislative session modified floodplain management requirements in North Dakota, and so basically said that if our ordinance is older than 2020, we need to adopt a new ordinance based on, like, the state has two model ordinances. One, if your jurisdiction is mapped by FEMA, and the other one is if your jurisdiction is not mapped by FEMA, and we're under the category of not being mapped by FEMA in the rural areas. The city of Medora has been mapped by FEMA, so they would fall under the other category, but basically it's, yeah, we might have to review this again. It could prevent the county maybe put on stipulations or like halt for like participating in the NF, they're suspended to be in the NFIP. It may affect people from getting flood insurance, but we're still not mapped by FEMA, so there's no true, you know, requirement to have flood insurance. It's all an opt-in for flood insurance, but there's a state's putting on a couple of workshops in a couple of weeks, so keeping tabs on that. And then I have a few property tax abatements. Some are the same old that happen every year with the Theodore Roosevelt National Park housing. If there's nobody in the house full-time, then those houses aren't taxable. And then I had one house for Carrie Hagan. She's planning on building a new home up north in the county on her existing property.
She did it already. So it's all done.
It's out there. Well, it wasn't out there as of February 1st of 2025.
No.
So it'll go on the tax roll for 2026. It's just that it wasn't built as of February 1st of 2025. And so when we get a zoning app, we'll pre-build everything within our tax program. And then this was a house that, won't be assessed until 2026. So it qualifies for an abatement for 2025.
Where's that at? You know the old Ernest Coolidge place?
Like
Yeah, right west of the
Hagan.
gas, east of the gas plant.
East of the gas
Yeah, that
So
northeast
right up in
corner.
there. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and so these need to be.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask just I don't know the answer to this. Is it our policy that if park housing is not occupied, there's no payment in lieu?
It's hard, yeah, like the full-time occupied homes, pay taxes, but yeah, if they're,
They have a
we're
bunch of
supposed.
seasonal housing, right?
Yeah,
Just
the
apartments.
seasonal housing units are hard because there's no person that we can assess a possessory interest to.
Wait a second, so.
Because if.
It's like a dormitory.
Yeah, like in the private sector though, if I own a home and I just don't choose to live there, that doesn't mean I don't pay taxes.
No.
So what's the difference?
Because you're not the federal government that doesn't pay property tax.
No, I know that.
Yeah.
Is there a regulation?
It's a state rule, like basically the federal property is exempt unless you have somebody in that home who is not exempt.
And then that person has to pay the tax.
Then that person pays the
not
taxes.
federal government.
Yeah,
Well,
and because.
Yeah, the feds used to pay it.
And it was a much simpler process.
But they
back
don't
then.
anymore.
No, it was about 10 years ago
They
or
reimburse.
so. Yeah, they still pay it by like reimbursing their people for the taxes. They have to just come in and show that they pay their taxes and they get reimbursed. The renters get reimbursed. But yeah, like about 10 years ago or so, they said that the feds can't pay property taxes directly to the county. City has 2 houses in town that they pay taxes to the county, like for their city employee housing over here. But yeah, if the house is vacant, I mean, yeah, it's used during the summer for seasonal housing, but
it's vacant for the most of the year, and we can't flag down the people during the months when they're here in the summer because we don't know what those taxes are.
What would happen to you, Stacy, if you just went ahead and taxed it anyway?
They would still probably, nobody would pay it, the feds would not pay it, and we'd have to do an abatement at the end of the year. Or because you can't repossess them for back taxes.
Penalty and interest. For
Yeah,
decades.
no, it doesn't happen.
They're gonna override us, yeah.
Yeah. So we get the full-time employees, pay their taxes and stuff. But then the ones that are the seasonal residences, yeah. You still put them on the books at the beginning of the year, but then if there's nobody there in December to send a tax statement to, then you just let it go. But these don't have to be fine.
I moved to approve the abatements.
There's 4 of them?
Yeah,
So,
or 5 of them,
5 of
yeah.
them.
This one,
Are they each one separately?
yep,
Okay.
yep, because there's one for each property.
Well, we have a motion on the table to approve them. Is there a second? Okay, we second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And then I have 2 ARW applications. They're both for Mackenzie Electric. Mackenzie Electric is doing some work up on the northwest corner of the county, kind of up in the Beaver Creek Road area, and then some on Blacktail and East River Road and Eberts Road, and Pat has reviewed these and doesn't have any conditions on them. But there's 2 different applications. There's Beaver Creek has 8 encroachments, and then mostly it's like they're going along the road, or sometimes they'll have to cross the road, so they need applications. And I don't know if Pat has any questions on.
I called and talked to them.
Yeah.
So are these getting bored under or over the top?
Both. They're going underground with some of it and then overhead with some of it.
Yeah, same kind of thing with other areas. We have 4 crossings on Blacktail Road, 3 crossings on East River Road, and a couple crossings on that Bullsucker East River Road. Yeah, and it has notes on here and like whether or not it's underground or overhead.
Okay. So we need a motion to accept these ARWs and do them all in one the way it looks. Okay.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, we have a
I'll
motion.
second.
We have a second. Anything else on it? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Stacy, why can't we require them to go underground?
I have no idea.
Why shouldn't we?
Oh, right here, okay, I see.
I don't know. I'm not the electrical person. Would be.
Is there any engineering reason why we can't say These all should be underground?
Yes.
There might be
Crossing.
terrain issues, I don't know.
There are terrain issues in some of that, because they're going over the hills. That, and I don't know. if
Because I used to represent Cass County Electric, or Fargo, which is a huge electric co-op, and all of their stuff goes underground
Yeah, it
for
would be nice.
aesthetic reasons.
And it looks like they're trying to put as much as they can underground, but they do go over a couple hills, and that's where the overhead.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to do that through Scoria Hill too or something, you know. I suppose, I don't know.
But where it can be done,
Yeah.
maybe the county ought to be insisting that they all be put
I'd
underground.
look at it, yeah.
Not only visual reasons, but,
Medora fire reasons?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, basically, yeah, that's what, yeah. That's something to look into. I'm not
Yeah, we can
aware of any
Put that on our
counties.
list of things to look at. Sure. A list. Add it to the list.
The list that I need
make
to
them
like,
all underground. See what happens.
yeah. Okay, I think I am,
Can we get copies of them?
Yeah.
When we're done, you know what I mean. You're good then?
Yep.
All right, thank you, Stacy. Pat?
So the crews have been hauling on 20th, 122nd, Buckhorn, East River Road, and then they started stockpiling here with the weather change. Cleaning cattle guards, looking for gravel and scoria. We did find some, working on some leases right now with the landowners. Moving snow and sanding or scoring on the road is needed. Jensen Brothers finished installing the centerline pipe on 135th, and they're shut down for the winter now. I got all the concrete pipe in so it can settle over the winter. Levichuk's finished up Krebs Corner down there. That's all built. It'll be seeded in the spring. The library trail, Levichuk's made it to about the second fence before the snow hit. And we'll just see how the winter goes, but they're probably shut down until spring on that when I visited with Hugh. That tractor was delivered for District 1, and then I ordered the trucks. That's all I had, unless you had any questions.
I just got one question. So we ordered the trucks, 3 of them we're gonna keep, 3 of them we're trading in to Wesley's.
Mm-hmm.
How are we determining which 3 they get? I mean, we can't, I guess after last meeting when Marcia made the comment that we just can't pick trucks and give to somebody, when I mentioned give to Kenworth the 3 better ones, how are you gonna pick which ones to give to Wesley?
We kind of have a list of the ones they were wanting, the ones he kind of looked at and was like, these are the ones we'd be interested in. They're all in about the same condition.
They had the serial number on it, didn't they?
On one of them for sure, yes. They had 2 serial numbers on, and then there was one that you said they're the same price. So
I was just wondering, because you know, if we're gonna advertise to get rid of them, if they're all close, it's fine, but there's some that are in better shape, you'd think we would keep them to get more money when we advertise, but how do you pick them? I don't know, you know?
right, they're all in about the same condition. They're pretty close. So about the same miles, same hours. And the one they were giving us more money for, that's the one that had a leg up on the other ones with a longer frame and hydraulic kit, but they were giving us quite a bit more for it. So.
That answer it? Okay.
Any idea on delivery date of those?
Kenworth was talking possibly January, February. Wesley's sounded around the same time. The payloaders should be around that same time also. So.
Okay. Anything else? Thank you then. Misty?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners.
Morning.
Today I get to be here officially in my official role, and I'm glad to be back from government shutdown. So just wanted to give you guys a few updates on things going on. The first thing I wanted to mention is it was great to hear about the Library Trail Road, the status of that and where that's going. So we were glad to get that authorized and glad that you're able to get going on that. One of the things that we did want to follow up on is making sure that the fences are tied back in where the cattle guards are going in so that the permittees don't have to be fixing those.
They're tied back in for now.
Okay.
We'll have fencing done on it once spring comes. They only got one of the cattle guards in so far. So,
Okay.
But it's all tied back in for safer cattle.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, we will want to follow up with you on the maintenance agreement piece of that as well. So that's something we can talk about here in the next couple of months, who's doing what for maintenance and all of that as we go forward.
So I visited with Hugh this morning because he said that they're kind of going to be shut down, but unless it gets warmed up. Mm-hmm. But he said we could scorio that first mile if it's okay with everybody.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Because it would be nicer for them to be driving on that if it gets muddy or slippery.
Yeah, well, and it's probably better for everyone not to tear it up if it gets as much. So yeah, I think
that's something fine. We could maybe be doing this winter.
Yep.
Is there room to turn around and do that?
That was one concern we had, was turning around. There's not too many good spots to turn around. So with the semis.
Right. He said that too, so
okay.
I don't know, was anybody working on like turnouts or pullouts or anything?
I mean, we had talked about that we would allow turnouts, pullouts anyway as part of the design. So if there was something, or if we need to identify a turnaround spot or something, we could certainly work with
a pullout, you won't be able to turn around.
No, it needs to be
bigger.
Bigger from just a turnaround during the scorio time.
Especially with the snow. I mean, you're gonna haul
too.
In the snow time,
that's what makes it tough right now with the snow. If it calms down and melts off a little bit, it might make it a little easier to get in and out of there.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Another road thing, so, I mean, we've been talking about the Knutson Creek Road and all of that. It's my understanding that you guys are talking with Golden Valley County about a potential new construction road north of Buffalo Gap. And so just, again, wanted to reiterate that we generally support the idea. Obviously, there could be impacts to the grazing allotment, other things that we'll need to consider. But as you guys move forward, if you come up with a proposed route, would like to get that from you as soon as possible so we can start looking at those options there.
Has anybody met? Are you on?
No, Roy is supposed to be calling here. You said shortly before Christmas, so
yeah,
that's all I'm waiting on.
And he had indicated that he was planning to get with you as well. I feel like I'm just talking about roads today. I'm going to talk a little bit about our travel management process. So as you know, we had a meeting with Pat and Stacy and the grazing associations in September to talk about moving forward our travel management process. Today I have brought the copy of the maps that shows the grazing association and the county's input that you provided to us, and that was updated based on the tweaks that we made at the September meeting. So at this point, this is for your information. Make sure that we've captured it correctly, all of those things. Our intention is that we'll be taking those little changes that we made in September, we'll be looking at updating the proposed action, and we will have the proposed action back out to the cooperating agencies, including you guys, the grazing associations, the state folks as well, for your initial input on that. So as cooperating agency, you get a first look at it, you'll get a chance to tell us what you like, what you don't like, and then we will take those comments and rework the proposed action based on that before we submit it for the general public to look at. So that's kind of the process that we anticipate. Shortly after we provide that proposed action to you, then we're planning to set up those meetings that'll be county and grazing association together, but specific to, rather than having all the counties and all the grazing associations at the same time, what we heard was that it would be better to have a more localized thing. So we would have you guys and Golden Valley County come in and meet with Medora Grazing Association and us to look at those things together, so that we're not having a whole bunch of counties with different concerns and issues trying to discuss things. So that's kind of the plan. So expect to see that proposed action in February. Again, you'll have an opportunity to be like, oh, we don't like that, we think that's wrong, we think this is okay, whatever. And then that will be kind of the next step for us to get ready to release that to the public. The process is, once we release it to the public, we have about, our requirements are it can't take longer than a year from that date. I hope it won't take even that long, because we've been working on this a long time. We know that you guys have put a lot of effort into it. The grazing associations have put a lot of effort into it already. And so we want to try to get this done as soon as we can, barring things like not being allowed to work on it or government shutdowns or things beyond our control. So that's kind of our plan on that. So I guess, Stacy, do you want these hard copies? And I know you had gotten in and looked at the digital copy.
Yeah, well, I got the access this morning. I haven't really actually looked at them yet.
Looked at it. Okay.
But I have the in, so.
Perfect,
yeah.
Perfect. So the only other thing that I had on my list was, I just wanted to mention to you, we are going to be starting to do some planning to prepare for the library grand opening event. We do expect, given the projected numbers that we've been hearing, that could have a significant impact on Forest Service lands around Medora. Because when things get filled up, where are people going to go to look to camp or park or all of those things? So we are going to be starting to gear up for that, looking at what our law enforcement needs are from our end, how we're going to manage all of those potential dispersed campers, all of those things. So we'll be probably tying in with Dean and Pat, talking about some of those things as well and how we see that working. We've also been thinking a little bit ahead, knowing that if we have a somewhat normal year by July 4th, we're going to be dry and hot, and thinking ahead about how we want to have fire restrictions in place so that we're not scrambling the week before that event to try to be sure we're covered for that. So just a couple of things around that we're kind of thinking about.
Mr. Chairman, I would just add, Brad Bolte, the captain for the Forest Service, was out just day before yesterday, I guess, so we had a chance to meet. So yeah, it sounds like they are, definitely looking at providing resources, and we're communicating on that, and we do see a need, for like probably a special order with a closure, just because of all the campgrounds are taken already, and that's going to push people out into these other areas, which is going to create some issues or whatever. So we'll probably have, and we're trying to be, conservative too, but as far as a radius around Medora, as far as how far out. So we'll be communicating, I guess, with you to talk about that.
Yeah, that would be great to get, what your thoughts are, what concern, areas of concern you might have, impacts to county road. I mean, a lot of these things are what we see when we have the Medora the Matahay Trail events, except maybe a much larger group and a much different focus area. So how are we going to manage parking along roads and and all of those things so that we don't have.
We've secured the school for a command post, so it'll be all under unified command.
Okay,
So,
awesome.
yeah, we can talk about some of those particulars, I guess, later.
Yep. Yeah, and like I say, we're just kind of starting to brainstorm and kind of figure out what we might need. We have put in a request for additional funding from our regional office to try to support some overtime and some signing and some, I mean, maybe if we have sanitation needs or some of those things. So we're trying to kind of get to a place where we're somewhat prepared for what may come.
Appreciate that.
So when you talk about the no camping and stuff, or some of that restricted stuff, it was brought up by a landowner or a permittee about our emergency access road with that new road there. Can we maybe talk about a no camping sign so that it doesn't turn into the hill up, what do you call it, boondocking or something?
Yep.
It was brought up as in previous meeting. I'm not sure if you were here or not.
I wasn't here at the previous meeting, but we did hear that very loudly from the Grazing Association yesterday, that concern. And so that's one of the things we're going to be looking at, how we're going to manage that. One of the things in our travel management process is that we can't, let me just back up. So our current rules allow that people can dispersed camp within 300 feet of any road, any open road. As part of our travel management process, we can actually say, you can't do that here. So I think that's one of the ways we can deal with that concern for that road, is we could potentially say that road is not a place we're gonna allow camping. And in the interim, until we get the travel management plan completed, we could do a separate order for that. So that's something that I'll be talking with my folks about and figuring out how we address that, because we do recognize that upgrading that road and putting gravel on it is going to be a draw for people. And we already have a fair amount of activity there already. So, yeah. So,
recreationals.
Yeah, so we recognize that as a concern. And I do think that's, you know, something that we'll want to talk about as far as for the stuff for the July 4th, some temporary orders where maybe we still have some places we say it's okay to camp off the road, and some other places where we're, for congestion reasons or, you know, line of sight reasons or
security,
whatever, security, that we're going to say you can't go here. So that would be really good for us to plan for. So that is really all I had on my list, and unless you guys have any questions, concerns, issues for us.
I think we're good. That's a good report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, we have, I think we're done with our reports. Hiring committee report on state's attorney. We have met a couple times, I guess. We are not, I guess you could say, 100% done with interviews and whatever. So I think we're going to either have a special meeting when it's ready, or do it in the next meeting that we're going to have. What are you going to call it? I said it, end of the year meeting, you know. So I think that's kind of our update, unless you guys have something. Okay. All right. So then we'll go back to Glade School lease.
You received an updated Glade School lease from the business manager. They had gone through their costs and decided to increase the rent annually to $12,000. My only issue with that was that the county had until December 1st to state whether or not they were going to continue, and then they changed the lease. So I think you could decide whether you want to continue with it or not, but if you continue with it, it would be the $12,000.
It was 10,000.
It was 10,000. Now it's 12.
Okay. Gotcha.
It's there anything, Kyle, on it, or, because you'd mentioned in your report, but,
I mean, we have been sitting at 10,000 for the last 5 years. 2,000 with the cost, I guess, me personally, isn't that much, so.
Well, the propane, the
When you look at,
electrical,
everything that
costs
goes
that
into
you
it,
They pay propane?
they pay all the utilities, yeah.
well, that's good, I didn't know.
I
How
mean,
about-
water, I think it's on a well there though,
Yeah.
right? That particular building, but, so.
Is that garage included in it too? No? That's theirs?
That's theirs.
Or they use it for their stuff, okay.
Yep.
Well, I think it's a good deal. If we didn't have it, what would you do?
Well, that was, the initial discussion was the school wanted the sheriff's office in the school, you know, as far as providing office space or whatever for a deputy, and then the Glade School became available, and it was like, well, that would just be a good fit, you know? And we've used it, I mean, for other things too, like when we've had bad weather. I mean, we had, you know, kids that couldn't be left at bus stops or whatever, parents were tied up, bad roads, so we've had, you know, the kids go over, you know, to that school or whatever too. I mean, it's heated and, I mean, so we've used it for a lot of different things, but it's been good for both the school and for us.
And you have had deputies stay there in weather, right?
So some of the, I mean, we have those different, couple of those manhunts or whatever, where it was nice to have basically the ability to go and have a place you could, you know, make something to eat and have the couch and rest a little
command
bit.
center or
Yeah,
whatever.
we've got a
yeah.
radio set up, we got workstations set up, so it works good. So I'd hate to give it up for, I guess, just a couple of $1,000 or whatever. And honestly, I mean, how things are, nothing's getting cheaper. It seems like things are always getting more expensive.
This is a yearly, isn't it?
Yep.
Yep.
I don't know, I, like I said, I think it's a good deal. I know I stopped a couple of times since this, but the coffee is always on, that's better yet, but.
Yeah, I'm fine with doing it and then having presence with the school there. I think that eases their mind too. It's always good for the schools to have someone nearby because it is out in the country, more or less, on a major highway.
It helps north people out up there. I mean, if something was to happen, they're a lot closer.
Right.
If they're there, you know.
Yeah, I got no problem with that, just the fact that they had to raise the rent after we gave them a good chunk of money for Bankhead Jones is what upset me, I guess.
Didn't give them enough.
And,
Yeah, maybe we should have gave more.
Yeah.
We did talk to Gates and Joey Kessel regarding it, and said that next time, if they're thinking about that, to let us know in June, so communicate for the budget purposes, and they will, they understand.
Yeah, I think if they would just let us know what it.
And I didn't know that we paid the utilities, I didn't know that. Or I mean, they do,
They
sorry.
do, yeah, they do all that. I mean, like their insurance doubled, you know, from what it was. So I mean, you have the septic too, I mean, they pay for all of that. I mean, like I said from initially, I mean, they kind of gave us a breakdown of the cost, but you know, you've got fire alarms, inspections, groundskeeping, stuff like that too, that they do. So it's, I don't know, it works out well for both of us, I guess.
So in the agreement, when you brought this up, it says terminate before or change before December 1st. Should we maybe add June 1st or something as far as, because for the budget, then they would be able to, you know, I guess we could reject this right now, but then we probably wouldn't get the lease anymore until next year because of the budget deal. You know what I mean? It's not a big thing here, but
Just to get on the right track.
but get on the right track for.
And I think they understand that now. When we talked
Well,
to
I think
Joey,
so, too.
they didn't really think about that, I
Right.
guess, you know? They didn't do it on purpose, I
No,
guess.
no.
That was the thing, you know?
No, I understand that too, but I just thought for future, whatever,
Yeah.
somebody that, you know, 5 years down the road, it's different people again.
And I think with the number 2 where it says, you know, December 1st, that kind of protects the county. We have the full year to decide if we want to continue the next year. then you have elections and things like that, so if somebody else came in and
Mhm.
decided they didn't wanna do it, they have till that December 1st.
That's true too.
Just as a
Yeah, that's true.
thought.
So then just leave it, yeah. I just thought I'd throw it out, so.
I'd move to approve the Lade School lease.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I second it.
Okay, we have a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Okay, next would be the Rough Rider North Human Service Zone. We have 2 appointments to that board. Dean Rodney is on the board as chairman of the board, and then Emily VC has been serving on the board for 4 years. She would like to continue on that board, if you guys want to appoint her.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. She's been on it quite a while, or since the beginning, or whatever.
We need a motion for that.
Yes.
I'll make that motion to appoint Louise.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. I wasn't
I
sure.
was reading RRN.
Yeah, I've gotten good at that acronym there.
Yeah, that's quite a long one.
Abbreviation. The beer and liquor licenses, these are the annual beer and liquor licenses, and as of last month, you increased the beer license to $300 a year and the liquor license to $500 a year. TRMF had no issue with that. They've turned in beer and liquor licenses for both Bully Pulpit and the Jaden Terrace for next year. So we do need a motion to approve those. Those are the only 2 applications that we received for the county.
Okay,
I move to approve beer and liquor licenses.
sure, we have a
138,
motion.
137?
I would say for
For
Bully
TRMF?
Pulpit and Jaden Terrace.
Okay.
So does that mean, well, I'll second the motion, now we can talk about it. Discussion, beer and liquor license. So up there, we know, but down here, what does it mean down here that's outside the county? Mean like Bully Pulpit only, or is there other, what about their new deal?
So it's only at Bully Pulpit. So for their new deal, the Bully Canyon area that they do it, they do special event permits just for those days.
Okay.
So it has to run through somebody who has a beer and liquor license, but it's a special event permit because it's at a different location. So if they wanted to hold something, say out at Pat Weir's house, they would have to do a special event permit if they're selling liquor and have it run under their liquor license.
So when's the party? But
I
so.
don't know why, I was looking straight at him, so.
I'm all in favor.
So,
Retirement party, huh?
There you go.
So but they're eventually probably gonna do something there, right? Down once they get, because I mean, isn't there gonna be a lot of things going on there with yeah. So, but that'll be down the road.
Right.
Okay. All right. So we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
The North Dakota Department of Transportation Annual Maintenance Certification. This comes every year. It's a statement that we need to sign for DOT stating that all the roads that we receive state or federal funding on, that we are properly maintaining them.
Where's the library?
State's attorney has to sign it as well as to the form of the document.
So this pertains to the
It's for all projects in the
Oh,
county that
all
we've
projects.
received funding on.
Okay.
I'm not excited.
There is pretty good progress on Chadwell Road from this year.
Well, it's more or less done, except for.
Sure.
Back to Marshall. So do we need a motion on that
Yes.
DOT thing?
Yep.
Okay.
December 4th.
So if we get a motion to approve the maintenance certification with DOT. I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. So. Is that it for you?
Nope.
Oh,
Just about. We're almost done.
oh, no hurry, we're kind of ahead of schedule today for some reason. Unless something comes along.
This doesn't need a motion or anything. We just need a letter signed for Southwest District Health, what was approved for their budget. They need certified copies of these every year, so.
Oh, with Sherry, okay.
Yep.
So we just got to sign it?
Yep.
Okay.
Everybody needs to sign it though, so that's why I brought it to the meeting.
You can start.
You can just initial where next to the signature spots.
Thank you.
And the only other thing I was going to request under my report is during the tax season of December and January, at least December and January, I was hoping to have a remote location up in Fairfield, whether it's at the fire hall or over at the Glade School, wherever works for those guys, to have a place where people can come in and pay their taxes directly instead of driving down to Medora. Because we get a lot of them through, at least through December for sure, who drive all the way down here to pay their taxes and then drive up.
They don't trust the mail or what?
Nope. There's a lot that don't trust the mail.
And somebody has to be there, right?
Right.
So like certain days or what?
Yeah, like 2 days a week.
Oh.
Or something.
Oh, so you would put that on somewhere?
Yeah, put out the information so that people know when it's open, and be able to come and talk their taxes. And sometimes it's a little more comfortable for them too, instead of coming down to the courthouse.
I'm fine with that.
You have a preference where, or?
No, I don't. So I was gonna talk to those guys if you guys were okay with it and see what would work.
That's fine. So you do it here for 2-3 weeks is what you mean?
Yeah, and see how it goes. If it's, if a lot of people like it, then continue it on through February. But if not, it's kind of nice with election coming up too. They can get absentee applications, they can get, things like that too. So just if something works out really good, and people like it, if they aren't showing up, then don't worry about it.
I guess for the public place, the fire hall would be the best for what we have for handicapped accessible.
And that's what I was thinking too, mainly because of the,
Otherwise, we have to do a lot more updating.
yep, and people know.
That's where you have the ballot
People know
box
where to go.
too, all
Yep.
of that, right, for the elections.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Okay. Well, I'm fine with it then. We don't need a motion?
No, just
Okay.
if you guys are okay with it.
Hmm.
Okay. And then the last thing would be to set the end of the year special meeting date to approve the bills. As of right now, we have a couple things that'll need to be done at this meeting. It would be to nominate the chairman and vice chair for 2026, commissioner portfolios, set the January meeting date and New Year's holiday, and then any budget amendments, transfers, and bills that need to be paid. So it's a pretty quick meeting. We just need, closer to the end of the month is wonderful, since there's the 29th and 30th, I think, on the last week. One of those days would be great.
You like them?
29th would be better than the 30th, or the Monday.
I'm okay with
whatever
that.
the Monday
No,
is.
I'm okay with that. 29?
Morning or afternoon?
Morning. I don't care.
They don't, if
It's
you want
fine.
to do it
It's
at 1
fine.
o'clock, that's what you're more thinking?
Yeah, it's fine. I just
No,
asking.
I understand you. Well, let's just do it at 1 o'clock then.
December 29th, 1 p.m. And an agenda will come out when it's ready to be prepared. But,
And we'll add the state attorney thing on there then.
okay.
Title and... Okay, anything else before the board? If there isn't, someone want to make a motion to adjourn then?
So moved.
There's a motion and second.
A second.
Meeting is adjourned.
Sure.
Which one of you seconded that?
I did.
Okay, thank you.
Initials, revenues?
Yeah, and there's a one from February in there, because when I was going through the revenues, I saw it was never signed, so it just got put away.
I was thinking about that. Couldn't fish it all.
I don't know.
Yeah. Lucky some goodness. Yep. I had given this stuff.
Yeah, right.
It's a full moon tonight, by the way.
Oh,
It's a what?
It's a full moon tonight.
It was last night too.
okay, calling tonight?
Yeah.
It says it's open on Facebook.
Just curious. But yeah, no, it was good talking to them.
Nobody's listening.
Is it Chad? Is he,
Yes, yeah, Sam, Tony, or
Okay.
something like that.
So-
Oh, that might be wrong, yeah, sorry, I might have got two people.
So I haven't met him yet. I was gonna reach out to him and just chat with him, introduce himself. So.
I did want to try to visit with you sometime about.
Building and zoning collecting $45,000. Is that from the library or what?
I had mentioned it to Pat,
Mhm.
but just, I wanted.
Might have
to
been a
visit
building.
with you, what your thoughts
Yeah.
are.
It was
So I'd
like
like
a
to see if
building.
you
Yeah.
guys can
And
support
it's
it.
try it, basically.
That, would
Try
that
to
be,
get-
some of those
is the hotel
concerns.
out
Yeah, to
or
get,
in?
to
It's
get,
outside.
yeah,
Yeah.
so,
No,
I
that's
mean, just generally,
Oh, that
my
could be it.
proposal is to
I bet it was.
reconstruct an old oil and gas road that went across the state section in there.
Yeah.
And so, that's kind of the general proposal, is to just rebuild that road. I mean, you can still clearly see the template, but the crossing for the creek is still.
Okay, so.
That's
so
probably gonna be a
improvements.
bridge or a,
Like a box culvert.
or something.
Has like Joey BC, has he?
So,
talked to him at all?
I have not talked to
Okay.
Joey directly, I have mentioned it to the grazing association,
Okay.
and they were generally in favor.
Okay.
Are you talking about crossing, where you, as you come around the corner, there's a quick crossing with the trail and then up and around highway?
Yeah, but just with the idea of trying to get us.
Do you guys all
so
want
that we're
copies
not-
of this stuff,
Doesn't look
or-
like
I don't.
Right.
people to go.
Did Pat remember?
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
In the state, that's a
Yeah,
state.
and I'll need to get an easement from the state, and I
Okay.
haven't talked to them.
Okay.
generally my perception.
What is this? Oh,
Sure.
Especially where it's an old road.
Right, yeah, okay. No, I know, you know his concerns, I would just.
And